Let's talk age-appropriate conversations versus how not to raise your child to be ignorant. Let's go. Knowing me for some time, you know I'm extremely passionate about this issue, and I've got myself into some trouble over it. But YOLO, I believe what I believe, and I will stand up for what I believe in. And there is no conversation that is not appropriate to have with a child unless you explain it in an inappropriate way. For example, I've had conversations with my 4-year-old about how babies are made, about same-sex couples. I have an 11-year-old. So the conversations I have with my 4-year-old and the conversations I have with my 11-year-old are obviously vastly different, as they should be. Now, I do not want my children to not understand things, and I know that people think they're protecting their children if they don't teach them about certain topics or things. All you're doing is raising your child to not be aware of the world around them. It's really interesting because I never see people go, oh, I don't let my child watch Snow White or princess movies because it shows heterosexual relationships. But if there was, let's say, a Disney movie about a same-sex couple, people would be like freaking out. And that tells me that these people have a fear of same-sex or queer relationships. And I think there's a word for that. I think we know what it is. My children are extremely aware of things. They ask me a question, I will always answer it in a way that is appropriate for their maturity and their age and what I think they're able to understand. And there's never been a conversation that they haven't understood. Another great example of when my son was 10, he does have a bit of anxiety, and we were driving and there was a gentleman on the road who was obviously under the influence of some type of substance. He was stepping out in front of cars. I was actually extremely concerned about his welfare. So I pulled over. I called the police. My son was in the car. He was obviously pretty anxious over it. But seeing anyone act like that as a child is scary, but seeing an adult, like a big person, act like that is even more scary. So that opened up the door for me to talk about drugs and alcohol with my son. But also it opened up the door for me to talk about mental health and addiction. And of course I wasn't going into extreme details about all the different types of drugs. So much power in education and teaching your child about these things. It's always best that these things come from a parent that is telling them in an age-appropriate, safe way. They can ask questions freely and all those things. So proud of my kids and their education and how loving and accepting they are of so many different people. So again, just to reiterate, there is no such thing as an inappropriate conversation to have with your children. There's just an inappropriate way to convey those things. That was day 7 of my top 10 parenting tips. Obviously, it hasn't been 10 days of me doing it because we've had a few disruptions, but hopefully no more. And I'll be back tomorrow with another tip.